welcome to another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt, the show where we dive deep into the journey of entrepreneurship with those who took the plunge and all the ups and downs that come with it. I'm your host, Dusta, and today we're met with Carlton with Able to Serve. Thank you for coming out today.
Well, thank you, Dusta, for allowing me to come on this podcast.
I'm really excited because of what you do. I have a son with a disability, and when we met, we had bonded over that a little bit and all the work that you do. So exactly. I'm really appreciative of it, and I'm really excited to share with everyone else too.
Okay.
So let's jump right into it.
Let's jump right in.
So how long have you been in the Triangle, and where are you from?
I'm from South Carolina, but I've lived in Garner since I was 16, so Garner's kind of home for me. So my father was a pastor, and we moved up, and he wanted to finish seminary, so we moved to Raleigh so he could go to Southeastern Seminary in Wake Forest.
Oh, okay. I've only been here how long have I been? I've been here a while. 6 years? 6 years. I had to think about it because it's been a while. And we moved here because we were living in Florida, and at the time it was not like the best place to raise children. So I was like, I need to go somewhere that has services, that has things available for my son because of the disability. It's not really a thing down there back then. And now it's all changed. Right. He's on his own. And if it wasn't for that move, I don't think he would have been able to be on his own. So I'm very happy about that.
We have a lot of families that move into the Triangle area just because of the hospital systems and the support that they have here. So this is one of the places, this is one of the states where a lot of people are moving in. That's why services are so backed up right now.
That explains a lot. Okay. I did not know that. I just did it because we moved here for family, and it was I love the mountains, and I love the fall, and there's just so much to it that you don't get in Florida. And so I was like, let's go, adventure time. But I also found out after moving here how many services they had available for people with disabilities, adult and children. And I was like, this is it. This is home.
It's a great place for that.
So I definitely appreciate what you do very much. So what inspired you to create this program, and what personal experiences or observations led you to this mission?
Well, the first thing was I have a sister with special needs that's older than I am. She's a year and a month older. So as I grew up, I was in a pastor's family with a sister with special needs. And so Jerry had a speech impediment, so I was always interpreting for her. When we were in elementary school, people couldn't understand what she was saying and things. As we grew older, I began to see her with her friends. And so it was a bigger picture than I have a sister. All of a sudden, I'm seeing her friends and meeting her friends. I got into ministry, and I was a national consultant, and I worked with churches that were trying to minister to a family. So I would teach them accommodations, teaching and things that went with family dynamics. And I realized that the church was a Sunday night, Sunday morning kind of Wednesday thing. And I really saw, well, what do they do Monday through Friday? And so that was the inspiration to say, they have all these talents and gifts, and they're not serving. They could serve more. So Able to Serve came out of continually saying, they're talented. Why aren't they serving in your church? They are able to serve.
No, that's great. And I'm shaking my head yes, because I had the same with my son. I would speak for him because I knew exactly what he was saying and what he wanted and everything. And that's when we realized that we need speech therapy. But that's a whole nother subject. But that, I feel you 100%. There's somebody to translate. And his sister, she used to do the same thing. She knew exactly what he needed. They were only 17 months apart. So She was always there for him. Yeah. And she knew what he needed and everything and spoke for him. And I was like, ooh, we need to get some speech therapy because he's going to have to go to school and advocate for himself at some point.
That's right.
So I understand that, and I'm glad that you were able to do that. So I'm glad we have similar experiences with that, because that's where it starts, I think, too, is the advocacy, is when you're seeing someone else who's not getting it. Right. And you're like, there's a gap, we need to fix it. Right.
And that was one of the things that I had started incorporating in the churches, in the Sunday school classes, was, why aren't we doing a little bit more of teaching reading or some math? We can add all of these things in that help them become more independent just in the Sunday school class. And it was just not really the church system, the way that worked. And so it was, they need to have more. They need to continue learning just like you and I do. Mm-hmm. They need opportunities to grow and be with friends. And so they don't need to wait for a Sunday. And usually the circle of influence and the friendships that they have with our folks are just their parents. Mm-hmm. And so they really don't have anything outside where it's their place. It's my place to come because this is my friends. And we've had more and more parents say, they get up every morning, they do not want to miss this because they say, this is my place. And that's what we enjoy about it. We say to parents, we want you to know it's a safe place. You can go to work, you can be with friends, you can do what you want to do. We're more concerned that they're pulling you here, that they're saying, this is my place and I want to be there. That's who we were really, really shooting for, to just really love and embrace. And I have people who've been in my program since 2005, 2008, there's no graduation. And so a lot of our folks, if they leave the program, they're moving, it may be a group home situation, but it's not because they found another program. It's because they're moving out of the area.
That's really good. And I love that you help them for life.
For life.
That is amazing. That's great, because not a lot of things do that. Sometimes they got programs for a certain amount of time, and that's frustrating.
They came out of high school and there was nowhere to go. And so if we offer just 3 or 4 years, there's 3 or 4 years later, where do we go now?
Yes.
So we just didn't want that to happen.
That was my biggest fear with my son, is like, I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to work and like hold his own and do everything he needed to do. And there was not resources where I was living at the time that was going to be able to support him doing that.
Right.
And finding them sometimes can be a battle, depending on where you live too. So that's really great. So can you share a defining moment in your journey that reaffirmed the importance of this program in the lives of adults with disabilities?
One defining moment, we have 75 people in our program.
Wow.
And so when you have some people coming in with just coming out of high school and you've watched this journey, and then you have some in the other life stages that come in our program, I think the oldest person we have is 63. But it's really not a senior adult program. So we have a good many in 20s, a good many in 30s, 40s, 50s. So it's really spread out. I think the defining moment for me is when I started seeing the Garner community wrap around us, see our folks, speak to them, introduce them to other people. That was the key for me. That was a defining moment that said the community will accept them. But we have to put them in a meaningful way. We just can't stand them out there and say, meet them, don't bully them, don't stare at them. It's get them out there and show how meaningful they are. Our folks love to tell their pastors and tell the civic organizations, how many backpack buddies do you do a week? And they'll say 30, 25. And they say, well, we do 148. We got 9 schools that come to us every week to get their bags. And they said, no way. It's over 20,000 since 2017. And they cannot believe. And then they begin to realize, wow, we don't see them all the time, but they're really there. So what's the difference? Do we want them sitting at home? Do we want them watching TV, wasting away? I mean, it's one of our videos that we did a long time ago was, it's just not enough to have a safe place to go. It's not enough. I want to learn. I want to have friends. I want to go places. We have picnics. We bowl. We'll be at veteran services. We just integrate with the community so people see us. We're located right next to Lake Benson Park, so we walk, and everybody loves for you to tell them they have a great dog. And our folks love to say, yeah, it's got a great dog. It's a pretty dog and stuff. So now they're greeting us and speaking back to us. And so some of that hesitation with, I don't know if I should speak, I don't know if I shouldn't, none of us will be correct with politics anymore. So what we say is, this is a person's name, and I talk to them, hello friend. There's so many things we can do, and I don't think it's as much fear as it is exposure. Just being with someone, being around someone, seeing them doing things, it's just an amazing thing to watch. And we have people who are, we have one class that's lower functioning, and so they use ABC mouse, and colors, and what do I wear if it's raining, and things like that, up to people who can do PowerPoints and work small on web type things. And so it's a diverse group within everybody, but watching them help each other. I know you have difficulty with things that are really tiny and small. Let me help you with that. Not about a teacher doing that, but about them stepping up and not having to be told, let me help you with that. Let me carry this for you because I know you can't carry it. That's what instills community within our program, which goes out to the community and says they will offer to help. They'll offer to do what they can do instead of saying, I don't know if you can do this or not. They'll show you they can do it.
Yep, and that is one of the most frustrating things, is I'm not sure you can handle it, which was a hard thing my son had to go through when trying to get a job without services. Right. And it was like, well, we don't know what he can and can't do. So it would often be pushed to the wayside because they didn't want to give him an opportunity. And I love that you're giving people an opportunity to interact with the community too, because it's very hard. It is. It's very hard. It is. And we have to bridge that gap. We have to create these opportunities. It's not like they're asking us, can we serve? We had asked the church to help, could we help with Backpack Buddies for a long time. So we actually search out and just kind of continue to ask so that we're doing different things, and that's not just our one program. We are really excited right now. We have 75 adults in the program. We're purchasing 4 acres of land right next to Lake Benson Park. And so in 3 to 5 years, there'll be a 24,000 square foot building with 145 people.
that are in that program, which will expand to job training, which will after school. I mean, we will have the place that will always be. We even have a big community area, and so we're going to be bringing in schools, bringing in churches, bringing in civic organizations where we work side by side with them. And this is like the serve place. When we think about where do we go to serve, there's this massive building with people with disabilities. This is where we go to serve.
I love that. It's going to be right there by the YMCA as well.
Yes.
And I know they have a lot of programs.
Yes, and we volunteer there.
Oh.
We not only take their adaptive fitness, they've opened up, when they got the grant for No Limits for adults with special needs, children and adults with special needs, they brought over games to our place to play the games with us, like the fishing and the different things, to say, okay, I see where this is not working well. I see where this is not working well. Oh, they really enjoy it looking like this. So they were able to take it out and have experience with it, having experiences with our folks that they will serve.
That's amazing. I love that, because when I moved here a million years ago, there wasn't anything like that, and I'm glad to see that this is happening, because that is so big.
Yes,
oh.
we've cleaned boxes out at White Deer Park, and we've done a sensory garden. We have been integrated in what the town's doing, with what churches are doing. So it's just threading in everywhere that we can be. The saying we have is either the community's coming in to talk to us, or we're going out there to talk to them. So we bring in all different kinds of jobs, people that do different things, just bringing everybody. We've even, several years back, we went to experience buying a Jeep. We went to the dealership, they picked out 3 Jeeps. One was kind of a low end, one was kind of a fancy 4-door, and then this big rock climber. And so they had to choose, they had to think about it, their family. The salesman came out, and he kind of dickered around with them, and I told him, don't play this. I mean, tell us about things and stuff. So we got ready to leave. We're leaving, and the salesman said, tears in his eyes, he said, best day ever, best day ever. He said, I went up to one of your folks who was in a wheelchair, and I said, what did you choose? And he said, I chose the one that's a 4-door. That other one was too hard for my mom to get into.
Aww.
And he said, I was expecting something different, and I realized they don't just think about themselves.
No.
So anyway, but it has to be those encounters where people's lives are changed. Met the guy later that isn't a salesman there anymore, and the first thing he said was, wow, that was the best day ever.
That sounds amazing. And now I'm thinking about that, because I have a child myself that, has a disability. I never thought about the whole car buying process. I think about basic taking care of yourself, making sure rent's paid. Wow. So I'm learning just like everyone else is today. That's an amazing skill. I never thought about that.
The creative part of what we do is that if you're going to stay in our program for a long time, we have to reinvent that each year so that it's fresh. We don't want you coming in and say, okay, now we're starting another year. Okay, we're starting another year. What have we done? What do we want to do? What are we hearing them say? They have a lot of input. That's why we call them participants. They participate in every level of what we do. So we take the proven and we improve on the proven. So it's a bigger picture when we know. When I started Able to Serve, I'd never done anything with a nonprofit, a day program or anything. Started it cold. We did our struggles just like anybody else, but we were floundering around trying to find different programs, listening to people on the outside say this is what you should be doing. When we stopped listening to anybody but the parents and the participants who might be in that program, it exploded. It exploded because this is what they needed. We needed to show the world this is what they needed instead of the world saying this is what they need. Totally different.
100%. I agree with you on that. And that would seem to be kind of the thing with some day programs. They're like, we're going to teach you only a few things and like that's it and move on.
Right.
And that's not good. Just a little bit of background. My ex-mother-in-law, she has AFLs in her home. She's done this her entire life. So she is the one who gave me a lot of education when it came to like programs and services for my son and like what to look for and all of that. So that's when I learned about the day programs. And she has had such a fun time trying to find one that doesn't just either let them do what they want, sleep, or teach them the same 4 things over and over again.
And we've had people come to our programs from those other programs, and that was what the experiences they shared. I've never been in a day program. I've never walked through any other day program to see what it was. I heard bad things about day programs, and I'm sure there's good ones out there, but I didn't want to get an idea in my head that this is what it's supposed to look like. So we built that thing from the ground up. I mean, there was no thought. We did one day that was a respite day, and we did another day that was an educational day when we first started. We don't accept government money, so we're community funded fully.
Oh, wow.
Yes, community funded fully. So they came in the program and we watched the people come to respite And then we would have a big attendance and then a low attendance, and a big attendance and low attendance. The educational one just kept going up and up and up. So we realized that education was an important part. So we have a very simple model. It's learn, grow, lead, and serve. So learn is, we use Unique Learning System, which is a web-based program that the schools use for special education. And it monitors yours with once you've signed in as a student, if you read and you answer questions on the book that you're reading online, then it moves the reading level up some. So we have that. We don't have assessments, we don't do tests, and we see a lot of our folks learning more because they don't have that fear that there's going to be some kind of test. But they also have peer encouragement, we call it, with someone beside you that's celebrating what they learned, and now you want to be a part of that. Grow is experiencing life as an adult. I mean, you need to be out there. You need to be, it's fun to bowl. It's fun to do those kind of things, but museums and going to things that are community events, learning about why it's important for our veterans. Why should we that serve our country? Learning the things that every adult has, learning to shop, growing in the experiences of even being a team. You know, a lot of times these folks are singled out. So now they haven't operated as a team. The leading part is where we give opportunities for them to take charge. You assign the people in this. This is what you're going to do. How about leading this part? And so very much the ones who are participants in the class are participants who participate in volunteering too. So they're helping each other. And we have some of our folks that will go in another class in there. And then serve is obviously our big one. We are so involved with, we've done mission trips. We've done packing bags for golf tournaments. We've done anything to do with another nonprofit organization that wants us to pack it. We do, and you know, things that are routine and packing are really good things to do, and we can be very successful at that.
No, that's fabulous. I love this. I'm so excited about it. When I first learned about the program that you ran, this was years ago, I thought that you only helped adults.
It's straight out from high school out.
So now I'm knowing that, okay, so they don't have to be like older. Okay, no, that's great. So my next question is, how do you define success for the individuals in your program, and what metrics do you use to measure that success?
We have one way that we do it, and I think one is through parent interviews. So at the beginning of each year, we sit down with the parents and say, what are some of the things that you know about your son or daughter at home that we don't know? And what are the things that they really like? Sometimes they're only echoing what we already know. And sometimes it's, you know, I'd really love for them to be more independent, washing their own clothes. And so we have a washing machine and dryer. I'd like for them to be more independent, so we build that in. The participants also sit down and say, this is what I enjoy, this is what I'd like to do. We find that we have to kind of pull parents to tell us things because they want to say, it's amazing. It's just amazing, don't change anything. No, we want to help your son or daughter move individually. We're not a big group. We're 75 individuals in there. And so success is them smiling. We had one young lady that was very bashful, and she led something in the group or stood in front of the group and spoke. We have one young lady that now works at McDonald's who anxiety was just overwhelming, and now she not only cleans at McDonald's, but she works the counter. I mean, the cash register, you would not think, and I asked her, I said, I know that you get a little bit overdone when people are a little upset. So how do you handle it? She said, I just am courteous, and I call my manager to help this out. And I thought, this is not the young lady I knew before. She would not have gotten in front of anybody, much less taken any aggressiveness from somebody, but she knew how to handle it, so her coping skills. But part of it was, there was a play in Garner a couple of weeks ago. 7 of the 8 people in the play were able to serve people. And the most outward, enjoyable, confident people that were up there were people that they would serve because they have learned to encourage each other, and able to serve people who are out there to encourage their friends in the play.
That is so important, and I love hearing these stories because that's something my son has struggled with too, is being able to be confident talking to people or dealing with people in general. I mean, he has a factory job now, so he only deals with a select few, but he had gone through the program where they had done this thing where they were trying different jobs. And like one of them, it was at a grocery store, and he was like, people are coming up to me asking me things, like I cannot handle this. Right. So I think that's really important to be able to work on those skills, because sometimes in life we get a job that we may not like, or you know, we're good at or whatever, but being able to work on that is wonderful.
Right, and there's so few opportunities. I mean, the resources and opportunities out there are so few that when we come along, that's why we have a waiting list. It is exploded because there's just nothing out there. And when they go looking, if they want to find a job, where else would you go to get the confidence and begin to get independent skills, which you're going to need in a job too? Where would you go? There's not anywhere. So that's why the growth has been there. Johnson County has been, we begin to get families from Johnson County who are finally finding out of what we do. So that's one of the reasons why the new facility, we looked in Clayton, we looked everywhere for land, and it just worked out, that piece of land, which is so perfect next to the Lake Benson Park, because we're going to literally be able to walk out of our land, walk right into the park and right back. So it's just too perfect. It worked out well, but we want to work out something for Johnson County, whether we have to run a bus down here and have one pickup site. We don't do transportation as far as them coming to the program and going home, but all the programs, the going off, the going to farms, having picnics, we are out every week, 2 to 3 times a week. Everybody's out, so it's not a program where we just sit in and watch PowerPoint pictures of what life is out there. We go out there and experience life. So that's what we want. We want them out there, which is what day programs do not do because of insurance and logistics and things. And we spend a lot of time with logistics and pay good insurance for our 2 vans and 1 wheelchair bus to be able to go out and take our classes. We're too large now, even with 3 vehicles, to take everybody at one time. So we're having to go classes at a time or 2 classes at a time.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so now we're going two times to places. So you imagine if it's a trip to Durham, you got 2 times you're going to Durham, the cost of going to Durham twice, but you want everybody to go, and we want it in a small group where you'll talk, you'll ask questions. We came to the Clayton Center down here and just had a wonderful time touring the Clayton Center. We brought food to the Clayton Area Ministries. We've worked alongside them. So we're looking for more opportunities where this will come into Johnston County, and Johnston County recognizes that there are people out here that really do need a place and a chance and an opportunity. And so we're just excited that once we really do get our facility, we can come down here and really come after the schools, find some way to get the information to parents. We think one of the best ways is going to be starting an after-school program. So we'll meet the parents with an after-school program. And so they will just literally get schooled. We'll make school encouraging right into the time where they come into our program.
That would be absolutely amazing.
It will be.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
It's going to be.
I know my kid's an adult, but still, I'm like super excited because I just love watching the progress go. My brother also, who is older than me by 3 years, he has a disability as well, intellectually. And there are no programs for him, and he just sits at home and rots, essentially, watching TV and doing nothing because there's nothing available.
That's right.
And I'm loving going to see that, from my brother not having anything to my son having some to now everyone else is going to get something better. That's right. So exciting. Getting goosebumps. Do you want to pause?
We can. Okay.
And we're back. It's my favorite thing to say.
Oh, we're already back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what are some of the most significant challenges you faced in establishing and running the program, and how did you overcome them?
The biggest challenge we had was trying to create something that wasn't there. It was, when we started, it was really trying to find the need. I knew what the need was, but how do you create something that meets that need? So we tried restoring computers, and that way at the time, people were getting restored computers till the price plummeted, and then nobody wanted a refurb.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. We tried several other small programs, and it didn't work. The biggest challenge was really defining what able to serve was about. I knew that people had abilities. I knew they could serve, but what format does that look like? I resisted a day program. All I'd ever heard about was day programs were terrible, and you don't want to go to a day program, and they just make you sit and things. So it was only when one of the board members said, you're doing a basic day program. I mean, why won't you call it that? Well, it did give me structure. So that's where we built from there is what do we do? We build out from here. What do we do to make it exciting? What do we make it a respite? Also, I didn't even think about the economic impact where families could work. Had not even thought about that, of the freedom for a mom to get with other ladies, to have coffee. I just had not thought all the other things that happened. So it really was a trial experiment, listen to what people were saying, move to where the need was. And again, it was beginning to not talk, but listen to what families were saying and what participants were saying. The few that we had, I started, it was all volunteer, and then we had an executive director part-time, and then I moved into executive director. So we went from basically in 2003, 2004 with volunteer, part-time, and now we have 11 staff members, 75 people in the program, and have outgrown where we are. We moved there in 2015 thinking that this would be, wow, we would never fill up 5,000 square feet. Now we're talking 24,000. So
I'm excited. That's like a Walmart and a half.
It is going to be amazing. And we want it to be a community center. We want places where there's things happening there with our community. It's just another way to bring them in a non-threatening way, to be a part of community. We're a part of community. We want them to understand that part. So it may be a facility, a building that they come to that really kind of bridges the gap where there's some understanding, because obviously there's going to be pictures, there's going to be things in there. So we're excited that all kinds of things are swirling in my head, with even the idea that we have some office space, and it may be for starter nonprofits to be able to have somewhere to come and actually have a place. You really do need a place. So would that be part of it? What can we do so that it's just this really wide scope of the needs that we're meeting in the community, and the community is drawn to that place? Not that we're forced out there, but they're drawn to our place.
That's really important.
It is.
I think it's very important, because there are so few, especially in Johnson County, places for third places is what they're calling them nowadays, is for people to go and interact and enjoy life. You've got home, you've got work or school. There's no third place.
That's right.
So I love that you're creating this community. This is great. So scratch that. How do you ensure that the program is, oh my God, I'm gonna have to cut that whole thing out. Let me try that one more time. How do you ensure that the program is inclusive and tailored to meet the diverse needs of the adults with varying disabilities?
It's that is a challenge. That is a challenge that we have, because some it's mobility, some it's anxiety, some that it's ADHD, some it's autism, some it's Down syndrome. I mean, that kind of thing. I think there's a common bond that starts off with relationships. Our folks love to be safe. They love to be loved. And so that starts with, and I learned that from my sister, that she's very accepting and very loving and accepting of other people. And so we create this environment where our staff and our passionate volunteers come together, and we create our community. No status. If anybody gets picked on, it's me. So there is no status in our building, which is a lot of fun. You find the neat things that people like to do. I have little quirky things with everybody that it's theirs. It's just theirs. But we also know that we have some families that go into crisis. We have some families that are just everything's good. And so meeting those individual needs means that we love on them first. I mean, it's very accepting and loving. And then from that relationship, then we build out. But a common place that we all have is wanting relationship, feeling needed, feeling wanted, and worthy of friendships, and a meaningful life, meaning I contribute back, that you're not just doing things for me. So that's a baseline across everybody, and then we move from there to the specifics of, like we do each morning, everybody in each classroom puts a schedule down. So we have people that need to know what that schedule is going to be. I need to see it.
That's my son.
That's right. So I need to see it. Well, for those folks, we do. We walk them through the day. It's a navigation where now that we've done this, we're going to do this, because we have some that are non-readers. So we're verbalizing with them. So each step is about, there are common things that we know that everybody, structure, safety, having everything in orderly fashion is very important. So that's baseline, relationship, structure, and then we can move into the small parts where we know this might upset someone, so this loud noise, or each one of those pieces. So we take those pieces, but we let that be on the outer realm, knowing that these two bases are there.
No, that's very important, because that was one thing that I learned, well, I don't want to say early on, but at some point with my son, it was the loud noises thing. And that's when it was like, it really kind of was full circle. I was like, oh, I really need to do something about the home and make sure that, we're living in an environment that's quiet. And schools can be very loud, and he did not like to go to the lunchroom at all.
Right.
He loved lunch, hated going to the lunchroom.
Yeah, my son is the same way. He's that, but we have some that wear ear protection. I mean, they'll go, like they don't like to go to the movie, but with their friends they want to go, so they wear ear protection. They have that. We have some that they get overstimulated, and so we have a nice picnic shelter and that land, so we're able to walk and just kind of give them a chance to come back. Our new facility will actually have a calming room, and so they can come in and things will be soft, nature sounds, anything that we know ahead of time that may be the soothing part for them. It may be something that they have, that they need as their security blanket. And we have several who have things that they bring, and it has to be with them all the time. So we have to make sure that they've got theirs. We have only one gentleman that's medically fragile, has a nurse that stays with him all day, but he's mobile. His parents are wonderful people. He's been with us since high school. So that story of a young baby that's born and they say he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. Now he's 24, 25. So medical technology is allowing them to live longer. But they need to live if they're going to live longer.
Exactly, quality of life.
Yes.
That's very important. That's something that I learned too is, you gotta have quality of life versus anything else. I make sure that they're happy and that they're happy with what they're doing.
Yes.
So that's very important.
So
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we're expanding it. Since the podcast room, there'll also be a media room in our new facility. So we're going to do things like having extra, like we have guest speakers that everybody doesn't come 5 days a week. So you don't have to come 5 days a week. So we have some come 3 days, some 4 days, and 5. So we have speakers who come in that some of our folks would love to see. They'd love to meet them or hear them. And so we're going to be at a podcast, bring them out or either live stream them in so that they're watching it. When COVID happened, we got a grant from the Rotary, Garner Rotary. And one of the things that we were able to do is we were able to have check-ins every morning with our folks. We did these crazy skits because we knew that everything was unnerving. They weren't going anywhere. I mean, some of us were going out with masks somewhere, but our folks weren't going anywhere. So they were shut-ins. So we were doing fun things, crazy skits and things. When it was time to come back, we were doing things like walking in the building and saying, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it one person at a time, and you go to your locker. Well, while we're narrating, somebody's doing it. One of our staff is doing it. So parents came in afterwards and said, you're a lifeline. I mean, if you hadn't been there, so we now know that we have people that are out for a while, sometimes sickness, hip surgeries and all this kind of things. We're going to be able to reach them outside of there, which what we want in the future is that we have something that you just do virtually. We just have the most amazing, fun things, and that's where you come to if you can't come to the program. Because obviously, we could build the building as big as we wanted to, however many times, and we still would be overflowing. So how do we reach those that just can't come? So that's the new frontier.
No, that's fabulous because you do have people that can't leave or won't leave for that. Like my son, he loves to be at home. He goes to work, he goes home. He wants to do something social, that would be perfect. Or to be able to meet or learn or whatever.
We're going to do cooking classes.
Oh, I love this.
We're going to do all these fun things and do it with a participant and just make it so much fun. Send the ingredients ahead of time and say, if you want to make a cake with us, here's what you do. And the one thing that we do a lot is we talk about the way we were created. God created us this certain way, and He knows best. So just like we do a cake, if you follow the directions, you got the best cake you could ever have. If anything that has the maker of it who knows the best for you. And so that's just one of the wonderful things that's saying, the rules, and that when we're a child, or if you have a child, then you have a good choice and a bad choice. You can't muddy the water. Well, we get older and we have, when we mature some, we have the wisdom to say there's a good choice and there's a better choice and there's a best choice. So we want you to think about the choices that you make. One could be good. It's not that it's a wrong choice. But for your life, what do you want? What would be best for you? How do you become the best you can be? It's just wonderful. We have one young lady that's writing a book, and she was so inspired by another person that we know with cerebral palsy who's written some devotional books. We had an author come in and talk about it, and then he spent time with her after everybody left, talking to her and encouraging her to write her book.
That's so amazing.
It's great stuff.
Oh, I love this. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to share this with everyone. This is so great because I just, my kid, I love it. I'm going to cut that part out, but I love it. I get so excited because there was nothing available for him, and I feel like we had no choice but to go through the program in which he went because there was nothing available. We did try it with JCI Industries, but they are so limited, and it just wasn't working for us. So I'm loving that you have something that's helping all of Wake County, even though we were just living here. We didn't know about anything that was going on in Wake County. But in what ways do you collaborate with local businesses and organizations to create the opportunities for your participants?
That's probably one of our strong points. We've worked with the Parks and Recreation. We've gone to them, and not only have we taken classes from them, but we've cleaned out boxes. We've worked with them on different projects and things so that they realize that this is kind of reciprocal. Even when we talk about partnerships, we say partnership is not about you giving us money. Partnership is about us fulfilling needs that you have too. So we begin to immediately, if we have a church partnership or a civic group, it's what can we do for you too that makes this thing worthwhile. We have a large following with the faith community, so we're always asking, do you have a mission trip that you're going on that we need to pack dental bags for, or uncased packing, that would make the weight limit less. They do a lot of unboxing, so you're not paying for the cardboard. So we've had those kind of things. The chamber, when they come to us for a golf tournament, and it allows us to show the business people, what we can do. We've just been very fortunate that for 21 years we have really been concentrated in Garner, and so we have opportunities now where before I was knocking on doors trying to get us opportunities, and now we have people calling saying, is this something that you could do, and we're agreeing. So it's really fun to see it the other way around, that they know we have so many people that can do so many things that they're asking us, could you do this, and how do you do that? Is there a possibility? And so we're always throwing it out there too. What can we do? Our town, we studied our officials, and so we went. Not only did we have the mayor come in and speak to us, but we went to town council chambers, and the councilmen talked to us about what it meant to be a council person to serve their community. We've done all the different things that show them the inner workings of our community. The faith community, the Rotary Club, the Civitans, all the civic organizations we come back to. And one of the things that's exciting to me is every year that they come back, we bring them a report of progress. Every year we bring them progress. And so when you give to us, we're going to do a report card, and we're going to come back with it. We're not going to be, well, it's just a great program. And it's always been a great program. It's going to be, what do we accomplish with your money? And what are we accomplishing that would not be accomplished unless you helped us with this? We do have program fees. And the interesting thing about program fees, so we're community funded, that parents are only required to pay 40% of what it costs. We raise 60% of the cost for them to come. If there's a family in need and financially need help, we give assistance. We've had someone in our program that's gotten assistance from the very beginning, been in our program 10 years. So we do vet. We want our donors to know that we want to make sure they need the money. I mean, we don't want it to just be, because someone comes in and says, I think I can't pay this and things. We've had families that went through one parent that had got cancer, and they were two working parent family. And so they did not pay anything until they came back and said, I'm back on my feet, I'm healthy again, I'm back at work. So while there's program fees, it is always a consideration. And number one, that we're paying more, we're paying 60 and they pay 40. But it also says that we build in knowing that the families are going to go through crisis. Things are going to happen. And so no one has ever left our program because of money. No one's ever left our program. We had one mother that her husband left her, the rent wasn't paid, she had to go move in with her mother. And I called her and I said, you do know your son's not going to be out of this program, right? He's staying in the program. And she said, that's the only thing I knew was going to be stable, is him being in that program. So we know that it's a ministry of what we do. It's a family ministry. We do a Mother's Day brunch and a Father's Day. And July 3rd, could you not be in a better place in our building? Because they shoot fireworks off right across the street. So we have some in our program. The families have actually gone to the fireworks for the first time because their son or daughter can go in the building, and where the noise is too much, they can watch it through the glass while mom and dad can sit out with other parents and just enjoy the fireworks.
That is so wonderful.
It's amazing.
That is so great. I love this. I'm so excited that you came out today. So how do you address the stigma that individuals with disabilities often face in community settings, and what role does your program play in changing that?
I think a big part of our changing is the way that we interact when we're out in the public with our folks. The way that we interact with them, the respect that we give to them, our introducing them to someone, because we know that that's the awkward part.
For sure.
If I say the wrong thing, So we're the ones that are introducing them. Our folks are infectious. I mean, as soon as they start smiling and talking to you, a lot of them want to know your name and want to be your friend and things. So I think the encounter that we can have, and the encounter that when they go in the public and there's managers of places and places that we've been into, and they would go, oh, that's Jane right there. And so I want to introduce you to her because that's my friend. I love it. Chief Zudema was the Garner Police Chief for several years back, and we went to go to show them that police are good. I mean, what they see is, cops and some of the shows where it's always some kind of beating up or something. So we went there and he had his officers lined up because that entire afternoon we were spending like watching the dogs sniff out, drugs and all this kind of stuff. But he stood right in the middle, and our folks were lined up to come in, and his folks were lined up, his officers were. And he said, I want you to understand that's my friends. I do want you to understand that's my friends. And I want them treated like my friends. And I thought, when leadership does that, how fast that can happen if we're influencing leaders. The town leaders love Able to Serve. The mayor loves Able to Serve. He's been several times as a friend, not just before he even got in his official role. So that friendship and leadership who have influence over other people is the way that we've spread it out there. We know that we can't hit every person, but we can hit people along the way, encounter them, and then make sure we get with leaders and influencers in the town so that they are spreading that same message.
No, that's very important too, to let them know that, hey, we exist and that there's an option for people who come to our town and they need it.
Yes. So
that's really great.
The mayor said that he can't wait because there's no such thing as Able to Serve anywhere else, and so Garner is going to be the place that there is an Able to Serve. He said that's just going to be exciting. So we've been very fortunate that with the years that we've been there, we've established the trust. We've established that we're credible. We've established that we're sustainable. We've established that leadership and how careful we are when we hire people, that they're bought and sold into what we do. So everybody sees that excitement. Our instructors, when they go out, there's no way you can't get excited about the program just by the way they are treating you and treating the people that are with them. It's just one of those things, lead by example. It's basically what it is.
That's great. I love this philosophy. It sounds like a really amazing program. I'd love to come visit someday and see how everything works.
Absolutely.
And, just kind of say hi to everyone, make some new friends.
Oh, you'll make a lot of new friends.
That's, I think, the best part about it is because that's something that my son actually had commented about, is that he doesn't feel like this particular area had a lot of places for people like himself to be able to make friends. And I was obviously at a loss because I didn't really know what to tell him. I was like, how would you find that out? You can't really Google that,
Right.
So that's great that you have a program, and I'm hoping that we can raise more awareness about it.
Right. And what's good is some of our folks that are higher functioning, coming into our program, come in with some hesitation that maybe they don't belong there. And when we put them in leadership roles where for the first time they're recognized for what they can do, and others, their peers, recognize that they do things that they can't do, and they can take advice from them, and they can take direction from them. Then all of a sudden, where I've always been, do what you can do, now all of a sudden I'm recognized and respected as a leader. So that is where that merging of all these different abilities come in, where everybody's is valued, but there are times where some can kind of bubble to the top, and they have a little more responsibility in what we do. So it's wonderful to see it happen without instruction. It just happens.
That's great too, because also it builds their confidence, and
Yes,
that's
it
an
does.
amazing thing to
Yes,
do. It
it
makes
does.
them believe they can do more, and they can.
It does.
So that's great. I love this. So what skills do you believe are most vital for adults with disabilities to learn in order to thrive in their communities?
I think the basic skills are just independent skills. The confidence, and they're small things. We had one mother who said, my son's been in your program just a little while, and he came home and he set the table. What in the world is going on here? So I think part of it is letting them explore things that maybe they haven't done. If just like my son, when he's with me, he's one way. When he's with other people, he seems to be a little more open to things. And so we're able to build on that openness and, build the friendships, get them to experience things independently and have confidence. That's a big thing. Going in and experiencing, knowing that you can do things, and maybe it's not done right the first time, but we can work on this. We can do this. And I think that's part of it is fear of failure. All of us have that, where if we start something, we don't really understand what we're going to do. We explore things. Some of our folks just come up with things they love to do, but we do daily living skills, which are very important, like hygiene. You go to a job and you don't have good hygiene, you're not staying there. I don't know how good you are. So we work on those kind of things, that they are a person. So everything that they are designed to be, we want them to develop into that. Part of that, building that confidence and those awareness skills, the independent skills, helps them go out, and when they encounter these things that they're not really sure of, or they're a little bit uneasy, then that's when, whether it be a job, whether it be joining a civic group, and we tell them that this is the community we want you to start with, but we don't want you to end at Able Serve. We want you to be out there. We want you to join civic clubs. We want you to be a part of your church. We want you to be a part of whatever that's surrounding your family, and show them. So we build it inside, and then we push them outside. Fly. We want you to fly.
Yes, and just from experience with my own son, I noticed that whenever he had the confidence from being able to do these different things with his disability and jobs, that's when he started to flourish, when he wasn't around me. And I know that I'm that mother that's like, oh, but he can, and he's like, shut up, I can do this. Yeah. So this man, I love him to death, but he never walked a day in his life, never. He got up and ran across the room at 18 months old, and I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do, right? Then he's like 15 years old, never rode a bike, gets on a bike and takes off down the street. And I was like, I'm going to stop saying that you can't do things, because clearly I am wrong. So
he's just not showing you until he's ready.
Yeah, that's all he's always been. And I'm just like, this kid, I love him. And the neighbors, even when he was about 16, they gave him a job where he was helping them with lawn work. Never drove before, right? I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna like hit the fence, something's gonna happen. I'm like peeking out the window like, oh, he's driving, stopping, putting leaves and taking off. So I just started backing off, because I think that sometimes as parents we want to save our kids from everything.
That's right.
And so we need programs like this to be like, hey, look, your kid can actually do it. You just need to go away, Mom.
Yeah. My father and my family's been a part of this. I mean, I started it, but they've been very supportive all along. So my dad volunteers. He's a retired pastor now, so he volunteers. They forbid him to go into my sister's class, because they say she shuts down and she waits for him to do everything.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So some self-reflection.
Yes. It's
Got it.
Same thing. Yep. It's a lot different. And we call it peer encouragement. It's not peer pressure. Peer encouragement. You're with someone and you want to do well, and you want their affirmation. Is that mom and dad? I mean, they're mom and dad.
Yeah.
So you get with your friends. It's an adult setting. We may have our lessons may be tuned down to wherever their learning level's at, but they're still adults, and so we try to give them respect. We try not to have things. My word is cutesy. That's a terrible word, but I don't want my son to be in something where he's 16, 18 years old and he's talked down to like he's a child.
Yes.
So we work really hard with volunteers. We do a lot of training with our staff does medical training. We did a experiential learning training. So twice a year we have trainings on whatever needs to be addressed in there, and then we have videos and things for our volunteers that bring them up. So we want that whole picture. We want a consistent picture. You know how much consistency matters. Mm-hmm. And so we don't need staff treating them one way and volunteers treating another. We need to be one happy family, and that's what we are. We talk about the Able to Serve family. People that are in our program, you're part of Able to Serve family. People that leave our program, you never leave the Able to Serve family. You may leave physically, but you never leave our family. We want to keep up with you. We want to see how you're doing. I've been to baptisms. I've been to people's that had a death in the family. It's very much involved, just not only in the 9 to 3, but it's outside, things that are important to our folks and things that are going on in their lives. I try to make sure, and our staff tries to make sure, that we can get to as many things as we can, so that you see the support. This is your family. We're part of this. We want you to know that we're grieving with you. We're celebrating with you. I've been to a graduation. Those are hard to get into because it's so tight now, but I happen to get into one. But that's the part that I think the relationship building comes into play, where they're confident enough, they're willing to open the door that they may do something wrong, but it's okay because you really think that much of me. And that can't be done on a 9 to 3 in a structured program. That happens outside the program.
No, and that's really great, and I'm glad that you're part of that, because that is something that I feel as a mother with a child with a disability, like we don't get that after school and things of that nature. It's done. You're done. So that's really amazing. And the fact that you also have the faith into it as well.
Right.
I
right.
love that.
Right.
That's so great for them, because that's something that sometimes they just really need.
Yeah, and we say the same thing. There's no litmus test that says if you come in our program that you have to be a Christian and things. We're obviously faith-based, and we're not we don't have other things that you can go to. We have devotion every morning. Staff has devotion before anybody gets there, and then the group has every day devotion. So we're not going to change anything, but we want them to know that just like you, if in preschool, people that don't go to church won't get into church preschool because it's done well. So we know there's people like that are just going to come because it's done well. So we want to be that light that says, we love on people. This is what you do. You come in here, and this is the example that we want to set. Being good people, being kind and generous and compassionate and things. And then we can work from there, but there's no push, on anyone. But we are very proud to be faith-based. And because we don't accept government money, we can turn that program around as many times as we want to. So that program has evolved. We've added to. I was at one event where there was several different organizations, all government funded. And when I said in 2010, I said this is kind of wrong terminology, but I melted that program down. It just wasn't affected the way it was going, and it was rebuilt. And the lady came afterwards and she said, "I've never heard of somebody being able to do that." I said, it's because we don't accept government funding. So they can't dictate what we do. The community dictates, because if we're not doing it good, they're not going to give. Parents can dictate because they won't bring their son or daughter to us sit there. So everything is accountable to the people that we should be accountable to. And I always joke with people, I said, if with a government program, everybody's paying for it, and all we're asking to do is our parents to pay part of it. You're donating. We're not taking your money. You're giving your money.
Oh, that's amazing. I never even thought about that too. That's great. That gives you more control over how you're serving.
Yes.
And I love that. That's great. And now you can take feedback and tailor it. So that's even better. Cards, but we're working on those. So I have my phone here. And not sponsored by Sheets, but I love Dr. Pepper. I just have to throw that in there. All right. So what strategies do you use to empower participants to advocate for themselves and the needs within the community, their needs?
It's called showing opportunities. We go to other nonprofits and learn what they're doing. So it's for the first time, and they're not self-centered, but there's a lot of attention on their needs, and so they really haven't had a chance to get out of that box to see others. And so we work with other nonprofits. We pack bags for Community of Hope. We've come down here, and a lot of it is showing these opportunities and saying, people need us. They need us. We have needs, and we know that those needs need to be met, but there are other people who have needs. And so when we create these opportunities, it's hands-on, it's real-time. They can see. We did Samaritan's Purse, we did the Christmas boxes. So we've tried to look at every avenue of saying there are needs out there and they need us. And so I think that's where they begin to advocate for others in need and putting others ahead of self. The self-advocacy comes when we give them the confidence and opportunities that you open those doors and they take it. I mean, they do take it, but it has to be thought out, it needs to be planned, and it needs to be patiently done, where we don't have the expectation of when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And so the different things that we do, but I think a lot of it builds on for some, not all, but for some, the first time of really thinking about other people and the needs they have. And so going to these other nonprofits and seeing what they do and getting excited about what they do. We worked with a place in Knightdale, and we just sent blankets up to Western North Carolina that we made, so that the people would have blankets and things. So we talk a lot about the needs, and I think that's one of the biggest parts where they step up. All of us want to help. I mean, all of us want to help others in need, and all of us can recognize that. But rather than seeing the tragedy of what happened in Western North Carolina, we see what we can do, and it doesn't make it better. But it says, instead of feeling helpless and we can't do anything but watch this video or watch the news and it's terrible, we can smile and say, we've added a small part. We've been a small part. We've taken water. We've done these different things, collaborating with other nonprofits. So we want them to understand that Able to Serve does a specific thing, but there are so many other great nonprofits that are doing things. And so I think that's part of the advocacy, is when they begin to step up and see others in need, and then realize that you know what, I'm doing this. I mean, I'm the one. I'm doing Backpack Buddies. We changed the scheme from the system from numbers to colors. It was just so much easier because they always had, well, this is menu 1 for week 2. It was just as confused. I was confused. So we changed that, and when we started doing those kind of things, I mean, they were stepping up. It was them, and so confidence building. I mean, the more that you have confidence and the more that you see success in your own life, you build more success. I've got more excited about nonprofit world and really had no idea what I was stepping into. I mean, there was no thought. I didn't read a book about it. It was somebody said, a friend of mine said when my conversation with him was, you know, I know the faith community knows that they have abilities, but they're not doing anything. They're not serving, but they need to be serving stuff. And he jokingly said, start a nonprofit, make it happen. That's where it really started. It was not anything, there was no big light shining down from above and things. It's a calling. No doubt that it's a calling, and I love what I do. But it really was just, there's a need, and so let's figure out this need and go from there. And it's just been wonderful how things have placed along. We went through the 08, 09 when things were just, I mean, bare bones. It was a difficult time, but it made me realize that to be sustainable, you had to start putting back some reserve funds. You had to start thinking these things out. And so every day I pray over 11 staff members, knowing that their families depend on their paycheck. So it's not just 08 and 09 where I had to not take pay, hoping that we could to survive. We have people who can't do that. So we want to make sure that we're prepared for them, which gives them confidence to instill in and put all of their passion into our folks.
That's true. They say whenever you start something, you're the first to show up and the last to get paid.
That's right.
So I understand
right.
that.
That's right. Been there, done that.
Right. And they say a lot of, just based on my podcast, I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, and that's kind of their, ready moment is they were like, I see a need, boom, I'm in it. And you did the same thing. And I love to hear that, because no one can really go and plan out, I'm going to do it and this is how it's going to happen. And it just doesn't work that way. Right. It's, you see a need, you proceed forward.
Right. I think the difficult thing for some and is a benefit for some is I didn't want structure. I don't do well in a structured clock in and clock out. So all of the things that the experiences before in my work was a clock in and clock out thing, and I hated it, because it was I need to do a little bit more today, or I needed to, this could be done a different way, and there's such a strict way that things are organized and structured. So I remember being at a seminar, and the Koch brothers said, they say think outside the box, and you really can't do that. There's a structure, so you push on the sides of the box. Push on the sides. And so then I started realizing that no matter what you do, there's a way that life happens, and there's a way that things are structured, and the way you pay bills and things. You really can't just jump out of everything. But if you really do think outside the box, you really are pushing on the side of the box just to get a broader perspective. So that's where I say, again, what we've done is we take the proven and we improve on the proven. It just, we saw this work really well, and so it's a variation. We go this way. End of the year, we always look at what are we doing? Is it something we've just been doing because it's what we've always done? What is it that we're not doing that we've heard that all of our staff has seen is something that really we need to be working toward? Our biggest issue is every year we want to change. What do we need to change? But not change the things that's working. But not get into that rut where we have a day program, it's 9 to 3. Here's what we do. The day is like this. Everybody loves it. This is what we do. And if I was in that program after about 2 years, I wouldn't want to be in it anymore. I don't want it that strict. I want to go new places, and I want to do new things. I want to learn new things. So it's the wonderful challenge of having people in the program for years is this recreating and enjoying that part.
See, you're absolutely right. And I feel that, like, after they've done the same thing, like you said, 2 years, it doesn't matter disability or not, people do not want to do the same thing.
That's right.
So we need to change as life changes.
That's right.
And I love that you do that.
Right.
That's
Every one of our classroom has touchscreen computers. One of the biggest windows to the world is technology.
Yes.
So they have tablets, and we do. There's free time, but we have every room has touchscreen computers, and so we have the commitment that about every 4 years we take new computers in, because they need to have what's right. We had one lady that came in our building, and she said, you expect a nonprofit to be doing hand-me-down stuff. She said, this is the most respectful place for adults, because these computers are new. I mean, they're nice. The tables are nice. Everything, the chairs are nice. It's everything about these folks coming in and having the same respect you would want for any other adult. So that's one of our commitments, is that we stay up with technology. We pivot when the world pivots. We need to understand that. We need to understand some of the things that come out that's very negative to help our folks see the light, that there's a lot of positive in things, and we can be that positive change.
Absolutely, and that's important. I'm going to pause for 1 second. What time is it?
3:17.
I'm on overtime.
Yeah, we messed up. So
Wait for my check now.
whoops. I have a podcast at 4, so I need to
Okay.
wrap it.
Wow, seriously, you do more than one?
I had 3 booked today. We'll talk about that after. Let me ask you the last questions and then we'll...
Okay.
All right. I'm going to edit all that out, I promise. All right, so looking to the future, what are your hopes and aspirations for the program and its participants?
My hope and my dream is that it never settles on the norm, that it's always cutting edge, it's always pioneering. I read one book when I got into the nonprofit world, and it was talking about whether you're institutional, which means you can duplicate it anywhere, or pioneering, which means that it's not there. So the day program is wonderful, and I want that day program to thrive and continue to be innovative, the things that we can offer, but looking at new space and new building, the opportunities for job training, job coaches, after school programs. I love the idea of having the space to where we can just create whatever needs to be out there, and listening to the public, listening to our participants, listening to their families. And as the new people come in, I mean, we're hearing all kinds of ideas, and I love the ideas. I love the ideas of simulcasting of some of our classes. I love the idea of podcasts. I think it's just going to be exciting to reach a group that's not there. Our folks do a newscast, and it's the most wonderful newscast in the world, where they report on what they're doing, and there's a newscast sound when it comes up and things. But is that
That's cool.
where we want to end? I mean, it's cooking classes and all of these things that reach out to the world. I think our future is in technology, where we really do get a place where we have such a great program for those that can be there. We have a program for people that can't be there. We have things going off during the day where you're not part of a day program, but you can come to a class on learning how to use a computer. You can come to a class on safety on the internet. You can come to a class for cooking. So really do not want this to be one large day program. We want it to be pieces going on all the time. Bringing people into our someone with logistics is bringing in people who will say, we have this big community room, you can unload if it's something we need to pack or whatever, and we do these things together. And right now we are doing the things, backpack buddies, we do have some help sometimes, but it's one of those things that's it's us in the Midday Rotary, but we want our project. And so the dream is that we have something where we have found a need, and our folks are orchestrating the entire thing from beginning to end. That's one of those dreams for our serving side. But it's about tomorrow. I mean, it's about all the tomorrow, being excited that we don't even know what's going to be available tomorrow, but being ready to be there when it comes.
No, that's absolutely amazing. I never thought about that when you mentioned the computer safety. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. These are things that I wish that I would have had for my son.
We have some that we learned how to use the printer. I mean, something as simple as learning to use a printer. How to use a printer and print pictures or do certain things on the computer. So that's not it. Using a microwave, using a blender. There's all these things that we enjoy that we think we don't even think about. It's just what we do. And then when you start watching someone, when we did the hygiene week on brushing your teeth and the certain amount of time you should brush, or washing your hands, one of our instructors came up to me, this was a couple of years back, we did, and we use intermittent with the life skills and hygiene skills. But he said, when we took this class, I led this one class about this one section. He said I was showing them how to do it and things like that and stuff. And so we went through it, and he said it was like 4 weeks later, one of the participants called me over while they were washing their hands and said, let me show you how I do it now. Aww. And showed them the correct way where they really were washing their hands and taking the time that they were supposed to do. So those are things that it may come up a week later, 2 weeks later, or something that they don't say anything, but all of a sudden we watch them doing things differently. So that's one of the exciting things about what else can we do when we have space to just create. So we're ready. I mean, we're ready for that building to be here now.
Me too. I want to come hang out.
Well, you will be certainly welcome to hang out.
That's awesome. Well, do you want to look at the camera and tell everybody where they can find you, your website, your location currently?
Yes. Our website is www.abletoserve.org. You can find out all of our information. We have Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Our location is 2100 Buffalo Road. We lease a building currently from the Lord of Life Lutheran Church, which is right next to Lake Benson Park. We're purchasing the 4 acres in the field that's between the church and the park. So in 3 years to 5 years, that's where our location will be. So we're not moving far when we do move, but you can come set up an appointment, just a tour. Come in and join us for an hour, 30 minutes, possibly volunteer. We do everything online with training and applications for volunteering. So I'd love to see you. It's very easy to find me. Carlton@ableToServe.org is my email address, and we'd love to see you there.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing all your knowledge. I learned a lot. I'm very excited to share this with the rest of the world and tell them about how amazing this program is, because I feel like it is very near and dear to my own heart. So thank you, and join us for another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt. We'll see you later.